Okay folks, so in today's video I want to give you a violent and rapid breakdown on 3 play ideas that you need to know about before Monday. We're going to break down everything that you need to know about these stocks, specific catalysts, and some strategies and ideas to get you started. I will put the timestamps down below so you could skip through and see which ones I'm going to be talking about if you want, but I recommend watching this video all the way through so that you don't walk away with the wrong impression. And today's video is brought to you by our Black Friday sale on ZipTrader U, which expires in about 72 hours at midnight on Cyber Monday. Take advantage of our sale today by typing in coupon code BLACK60 before checkout, and that will give you a massive reduction on the price for lifetime access to our program. Again, coupon code BLACK60 is the biggest sale we've ever had, and Black Friday is always the biggest sale of the year. Okay, 3 trades to know. Let's go ahead and start with COSM. So if you follow us regularly, you already know a bit of the COSM story. We briefed on it early this week. It ran up 110% to 45 cents, and the next day after our video, it had a nice little run to 66 cents before dumping off massively in a take profit cycle. It did end up finding itself bouncing from 25 cents and is now sitting at about 43 cents. Now, as you know, the way that I look at momentum is that real momentum is only built on consistent breaths and consistent sprints. You get something that sprints upward, then it takes a breath, but it holds some of the previously gained ground and then sprints again from those levels. That is how sustainable and more long-winded momentum is built. And of course, you know momentum is being broken when you get the alternative of that, which is a massive sprint that has a take profit cycle that eats up the entire previous run. And so far in this situation with COSM, that has not been the case, and thus it is still atop my radar and is still showing up quite a lot in our briefings. But what is happening behind the scenes here? Well, a lot. Short interest is skyrocketing, and this is becoming one of the most fought after super small caps out there. Microcap Daily reports, quote, "The stock was trading well over $3 at the beginning of this year, but has been heavily shorted since then, with current estimates of well over 5 million shares sold short and almost the entire public float sold short." According to Ihor Dusowinski from S3 Partners, their analytics are showing short interest being at 5.62 million shares, and then they are projecting short interest to be at 84% of free float. Market Beat has the short interest at 92% of free float, and quite frankly, based on the analysis from UUs, you're going to get a different answer as to what the percentage of float is that is sold short. The reason is because it seems like there's a bit of an inconsistency in terms of how they are reporting the number of shares that are held by insiders or other statically held won't sell at any point shares, and also because it's pretty unclear how many naked shorts, if any, are behind the scenes. Some think it's a lot, some think it's none, and so both parts of that calculation, the free float and the number of shares short, are a little bit debatable. But what I like to say is what barks like a dog and sounds like a dog and feels like a dog and also looks like a dog is probably a dog, especially if it quacks like a dog. And what we do know overall at minimum is that this is a heavily shorted stock, which is seeing shorts ramp up attacks as the stock rallies further. And they do have a few things going for them as a small cap that are keeping them relevant. For starters, this is a healthcare acquisition company, and they made a few recent large moves. Number one, they entered into a letter of intent agreement to acquire ZipDoctor, which is a telemedicine platform. Although who the hell uses the name Zip in a company name? How dumb can you be? Number two, they just launched their Sky Premium supplement brand on Iberian Airlines in-flight magazine, which that's about as fluffy as a product offering as it gets, but quite frankly, hey, at least there is some sort of partnership there where people can be like, oh yeah, they're doing something with Iberian Airlines. And number three, which we talked about, I think back in April when this happened, they also became the distributor of monkeypox detection kits with Vrax. Although this is no longer trendy news, it was very, very trendy at the time this came out, and the stock had rallied on this news, which is important because it shows, hey, this company knows how to court attention and follow trends, and oftentimes that causes what? People to buy into their stock massively. But anyways, the way that I look at this stock and most small cap stocks in this terrible market environment that we are in is that if it was such a solid company, it would not be trading in the penny stock range. The short seller argument here is very, very convincing, especially again going into this awful macro environment. However, the constant catalysts like the Iberian Airlines partnership and whatever other fluff they can come out with that causes the stock to rally and get a ton of media coverage and get a lot of buyers and FOMOers is something that causes this to remain atop my watch list and my radar. That combined with the holding pattern it just took convinces me that this is worth keeping an eye on for more massive runs to the upside in the upcoming weeks. The CEO also just bought 12.5 million shares at 12 cents back in October October, which was like 1.5 million, which is pretty good for this company. And apparently the company is going to legal war with the shorts, which probably will have an embarrassing verdict for the company. Number 2, metamaterials, which include ticker symbol MMAT and the preferred shares MMTLP. So we've been talking a lot about Madame metamaterials for the last 6 to 8 weeks, and especially over the last few videos. And if you watch the video directly prior to this one, you can watch a more full breakdown. But the 2-sentence rundown is that MMTLP is a division of metamaterials and is heavily shorted, but was just SEC approved to go private, privito. Going private means shares outstanding will be bought back, and as a result will put pressure on shorts to cover, aka buy back shares to close out of their short position before the closure of the privatization process, which is why both MMTLP and MMAT are rallying in excitement. Who cares? I care. There may very well be more massive moves to the upside around crucial dates. You see, MMTL holders will get new non-tradable or at least much harder to trade shares of private company NBH. Here are the dates to know. December 12th is going to be record date, and holders of MMTLP at 4 p.m. will end up getting the distribution, and December 14th is when you actually get that distribution, the distribution date, and holders will get shares of NBH for their MMTLP. So what does this mean? Well, it means that MMTLP benefits because shorts are heavily encouraged and pressured to cover prior to the stock no longer being publicly tradable. In many or even most cases, they will be forced to cover. Of course, I don't want to say in every case, because there are ways that you can roll over on the private market your short positions, and you just figure out different ways to come out with different financial instruments that allow you to still be net short and not have to buy back shares. But for the most part, it can be assumed that if you're short this, you're probably going to want to cover before you get that distribution, and all of a sudden MMTLP is no longer tradable. And of course, MMAT benefits because it spins off a major entity for what is looking like a premium. So both of those very important to know about before this week starts. I think you're going to see a lot of trading opportunities. Now, number three, I want to talk about Manchester United. Now, I don't know if you follow sports. I don't really, to be honest, but I do follow money. And there's this deal where Manchester United is looking for someone to buy them, to bid for them at a very high price. And it looks to be gearing up to be quite a bidding war, which may provide some more opportunities in Man U stock moving forward. For context, we originally briefed on it at about 16.18 on Thursday, and it ran to 22.95 at highs, which is like a 40% run, and is solid for play that I didn't think would run that much more during such a slow, shortened trading week, right around that Thanksgiving holiday. So my thoughts moving forward, well, we'll hear more bids and rolling enthusiasm. Let this dip, and then watch out for the next catalyst drop or bid if you're looking to play another run. Ironically, this last week was the most it's ever jumped, which means yes, probably pushing it in terms of price at the moment. But if it dips and you get another catalyst, well, I see that as very solid. Now, in conclusion, of course, our goal is never to tell you what to trade, but rather to inform you, give you some play ideas, give you some strategy ideas, and provide you with a new perspective. If you're ever going to play a stock, especially the small cap stocks that we talk about sometimes, make sure that you're going in with a clear entry and exit plan, a clear trading plan, and you have to actually not just make the plan, but trade the plan. A lot of people make plans and then they just kind of throw it out the window when they're in the position. Anyways, folks, that caps off the video. Make sure to take advantage of our Black 60 coupon code on ZipTrader U. I'll put the link to that down below. Coupon code expires Monday night, so give it a look before then. Make sure to hit that ravishing like button and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.